We're back!
We are cruising right now. Kind of.
Yeah, so there's a lot to be told right now. Morale was high. You can put it right there. Morale was very, very high. Pretty much all morning.
Super high.
And I think the best way to probably phrase it is that I feel kind of tense right now. Or like, I don't know how to describe it necessarily, but definitely there's an uneasiness that we're both feeling right now that we did not have 20 minutes ago.
Yeah,
But
so
we'll come back to why that is later. Let's start off with last night.
okay.
And we'll work from there. We'll go chronological order.
So we left off with everyone. We were in Missouri, I believe, and then we drove through Kansas. Nothing eventful happened.
Nothing.
We saw some. What are those things called?
Wind turbines.
The wind turbines, which was kind of cool. There was like an army of them.
We probably saw at least 1,000 of them. So it wasn't. But that was literally the only thing
About Kansas.
that they had in Kansas. Everything else was just nothing, and it sucked. We probably drove through Kansas for like 8 hours.
Oh well, and then Kansas City, we got the ribs.
Oh yeah.
If anyone doesn't know where to eat or is going to Kansas City, it's a really cool city. You drive by going in, you drive by the Royals Stadium and the Chiefs. And then once you're in the city, we looked up where to eat, and what was it? It was Anthony Bourdain.
Anthony Bourdain, yeah, said he put this place down, Joe's Place, 13 places to eat before you die. And I would have to agree with that statement.
Yeah, it pretty much lived up to what I was expecting.
The sickest thing about it wasn't really in the city. Like, we kind of drove through the city and past it, and then off to this little suburb area. And you pull up on this place, and it's a gas station.
So
With like actual working, and he put this barbecue shop, world-renowned barbecue shop, in a gas station. So you walk in thinking you're gonna go into like a 7-Eleven type thing, and we open the door, and it's just mobbed with people.
yeah, what was it? It was Thursday at like midday.
Yeah.
Thursday. I guess it was around lunchtime, but
Still, like, the line was like 40 people long.
and they knew it too. This place had where to stand in line, and it wrapped around the entire place.
Yeah.
And they must be that busy at all times. The food was good. We got a full slab of ribs, and we got a pulled pork and sausage sandwich. And both things were really good.
And we posted up outside because it was way too packed in there to eat. So we just ate it out of the trunk of the car. Had a few Modelo tall boys, and then pretty much everything after that, we didn't see a fucking thing.
Yeah. So we ate. I would say it's definitely up there on best tasting things. I don't think it was too much. I mean, I think they know what they got there. They know they have a gold mine, so they charge a little too much, I think.
Oh yeah. But it's a business. You can.
Yeah.
You know, if you can charge too much, then why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you?
They charged a little too much, I thought, and I don't think the portions were what I thought either.
I don't know. Those ribs filled us up pretty good.
No, don't get me wrong. I was full,
Yeah.
But I mean, it said the ribs fed 2 to 3 people, and it fed me and Brent, and we were like good after that.
We could have eaten more.
Definitely not 3 people.
Yeah.
2 hungry boys. Definitely, it worked out. But other than that, we didn't see shit. We made it through Kansas finally.
That felt like forever.
Yeah, got into Colorado.
And
Once
we
we
pulled
got
up at Colorado Springs.
Yeah, that was our destination for the night.
A little bit south of Denver. And stayed at kind of a crappier hotel.
It was $65 for the night.
Yeah. They got the job done. But first thing we did when we got there, very first thing, we went straight to the weed store.
Yeah.
Which definitely is worth diving into.
Yeah.
So
it was crazy. Like, you go in and you think, like me and Brent, we thought, you'd go in and you'd see all the product right there, and you'd say, yeah, I want that. They'll bag it up for you, and then you're out of there. But you go in, and it's like a host or a hostess set up. They show you a menu. They ask for your IDs once for the first time.
And there's no weed in the first room.
Yeah, there's no weed at all.
There's no nothing. It's just a guy behind the counter, like it's a doctor's office or something.
Yeah. And then you go, you take a number like you're at a deli line, and they send you through door number 1.
Yeah. They tell you real weird too, like take this ticket and walk through door number 1, like you're on a game show or something like that.
Yeah. So you walk through door number 1, and you sit down and you wait in line until your number's called. So they'll call like 2 or 3 people in at a time, and then so you go in door number 2.
Yeah.
And that's when your number's called. Yeah. That's when you go in.
And that's where the weed is actually. And every one of these steps you go through, every time you go through another door, you have to show your ID every single time. Like, and there's a guy that stands there with a gun the whole time. Like, I don't know. They weren't fucking around with like. Just like security, I guess.
Yeah. And
so then, and everyone in there talks like such potheads.
Yeah.
Fucking, what's up, man? Get some weed, man.
It's so good, man.
It's so good, man. So we ended up talking to this really nice guy who talked exactly like that, and he told us some good weed to get. We like pulled out a bunch of jars. We just like did some smell testing, picked one out. Got ourselves together, and then we went to door 3. Right?
Yeah. So door number 2, there's weed, but that's not the stash. It's like a showroom.
Yeah.
Like there's everything there. It's just for you to show, smell,
and pick.
Pick out what you want. Then I don't know if you noticed they have a little buzzer or something, and they say, all right, they're getting this, and this, gram of this, like whatever, and then they call it in for you, and then. Once you're done in that showroom, kinda, that was the second door, you go to door number 3, room number 3, and it loops around to almost where you started, and there's the last counter where you pay, right there, and they have all the product and everything behind, like, closed doors there.
Yeah, like a pharmacy, kinda.
It's a lot like a pharmacy where they get it, and then they put it out on the tray, and then someone at the counter grabs it from whoever's behind. So it's kind of like they're serving up burgers or something. Yeah. There's a fry cook behind there.
Pretty much.
But he's serving up weed.
And to be honest, we did not compose ourselves the entire time. Every time they told us to do something, we walked up to the next person like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah,
like,
we had no idea.
The look on our faces probably was hilarious to these people because we had no clue what we were doing, why we were doing it, but we just knew we were trying to get some weed.
And it was legal.
Yeah, and it was way more complicated and complex than I could have ever imagined.
Yeah.
And impressive, like, it was very well run.
Yeah. Yeah, they weren't messing around, because it seems like, they're on this tentative level where if there's any fuck-ups, this whole, like, weed legalization thing could go very wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're really strict on...
And they worked really hard to get to this point, and they don't want to blow it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, that made me realize some of the interesting laws, like, it seems like it's kind of based on alcohol, how the regulations are. They took that model and applied it to weed, so obviously you can't have an open container of weed, like in your car or out in public. So to be considered a closed container, it has to be in a plastic bag or like a paper bag in one of those little pill cases and stapled shut, and that's considered a closed container, and you can take that wherever legally.
Yeah, and they told us, do it, don't open, it's against the law technically to open the container, the bag, until you get to they said their words, safe place, quote unquote, safe place to use said marijuana.
Yeah.
They didn't really specify what constitutes a safe place to use it. I think that just means, on your own property or, not out in public. I don't think it's accepted out in the, down the streets of, you know.
Yeah. And we actually went last night, and we went this morning, and the lady we talked to this morning said something that I've been thinking about. She said the novelty of going in the store and buying it legally just never gets old. Like, there's that novelty feeling you get of it, you know?
Yeah.
It's always exciting. And I knew exactly what she meant, because the next day I was still just as jacked up that we were buying weed from the store.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I feel like that feeling doesn't really go away. It's pretty cool.
It is expensive though.
Yeah, I mean,
You get your quality for sure.
yeah.
You definitely get your quality, and you know it's zero worries because it is legal.
Exactly.
So I guess that's what you're paying more for
Yeah.
the convenience and for the quality of it.
And the
So,
security, like when you're buying from some guy, you may not know what you're getting, you know? Like,
not at all.
you know that these guys are giving you like solid stuff that's not laced with anything bad. This area is nuts.
Yeah. So from there,
So yeah, we ended up asking one of the workers where we could go out, and he told us about a few bars downtown, a few gay bars.
so we went to just a couple bars downtown, got a ride over, and it was Thursday night, so everything was kind of dead. There was one club that was quote unquote dark that we didn't try, but it was popping off. They were playing Drake. So the bar we first went into was Gasoline Alley,
Which they kind of prided themselves. They prided themselves on being like a
Rock and roll
rock
bar.
bar. But we got in and they were playing the absolute worst music.
Yeah,
Not
Blink
anything
182.
close. Yeah. Weezer, like stuff that's just not rock and roll. But they have like all this cool like rock memorabilia around the bar and shit. Like with actual cool bands,
Yeah.
but just not matching the energy.
Yeah, so that was a little off.
Yeah.
I think the Thursday night crowd is just not too good where we were at.
Yeah, it was kind
Apparently.
of dead. And the thing that weirded me out a lot is everyone there dresses like really grungy, like black leather pants with a leather jacket and like
Some gauges, a lot of piercings,
Yeah.
weirder piercings,
piercings
gauges.
and like I saw mohawks, just people like that seemed to be the scene around there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that's what the cool people looked like, which made me feel really out of place at first.
Yeah,
Because we were dressed like surfers. So, again, we run into some fucking weirdos. And we actually went up to the top on the rooftop, and there was a big fire pit, and no one was really up there, so like, this is our fucking zone. There was some local dudes sitting around, so we thought they were good people to hang out with. And this fucking chick, again, another insanely drunk girl.
yeah, blonde.
Blonde and just sloppy, but older. She must have been like 30-something.
Yeah,
She started talking to us, and that kind of led us into talking to her. Like, did you think that was her boyfriend?
no, I don't think so.
What do you think their relationship was?
No, you said he was her boss.
Yeah, but I saw him kiss her on the lips.
Oh, really?
I think they fuck.
I don't know, man. That guy was wild.
It was weird. So yeah, she got us talking to this guy, and this guy was a fucking lunatic. Like, 50 years old, white hair, kind of short, but in decent shape. And all he told us is how he works at a bar, and he just gets into fights all the time. But not really in a cool way. It seemed like he was, like, bragging about it to try to, like,
It's kind of stunned on us.
like, yeah, intimidate us. He was like, yeah, I get into, like, 2 fights a night, man. I've been getting into fights since before you were born.
yeah.
You're, like, sick, dude. Like,
Alright.
do you want to fight?
It's 2-on-1 right now. But I mean, he was just talking mad shit, like
Yeah.
being like kind of friendly, but at the same time just talking.
Yeah, it felt like if you
Himself
said
up.
the wrong thing, he could have got pissed at you really easily.
Yeah. And you know, obviously he knew we weren't from the area. We told him we weren't from the area, so he was kind of stunting on us like that too.
Yeah.
But I mean, all in all, it was a chill crowd. The girl that we started talking to was like, "Who's stronger, you or him?" Like pointing at me or Brendan. And we're like, I don't know, man. Like, what do you mean by stronger? She's like, all right, let's do a push-up contest. And we're like, dude, we just drove 13 hours here. We're not trying to do a push-up contest. We just have beers. We want to chill by this fire. And she was like grabbing our arms, like.
She started acting like a little girl, you know? Like, she got out of her seat and tried pulling me out of my chair. And like for 10 minutes straight, like wouldn't let the push-up contest go. And it was really annoying. And then eventually I think Ryan got up to go to the bathroom and he just kind of got roped into doing it and he went against her and just whooped her. And then everyone just told her to shut the fuck up.
And she left.
Yeah, and then she left.
So
that kind of sucked.
Yeah, it was like the beers were kind of too expensive there. There wasn't anything cheap. So we kind of blew some money, didn't have a great time. It was a nice chill area, but it didn't stay open too late. The upstairs, at least, where we wanted to be.
And the only girls that we ended up flirting with were just bartenders. And to be fair, they were all good looking. There was, 3 different bartenders we ended up talking to?
Yeah.
And they were all the best looking people at the bar.
Seems to be the trend on this trip.
Yeah. But that doesn't necessarily, like, it's really hard to take a bartender home as a customer.
Yeah. Because they work there, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
It's their reputation on the line.
Yeah, they're not going to leave with a customer.
So, that's always difficult. We were flirting with them a little bit at this one bar, the same bar, Gasoline Alley, the quote rock and roll bar that really wasn't rock and roll at all. So they were closing down. It got boring over there. The crowd was a little weird, so we left. And we didn't know where to really go, and we didn't want to go to any of the bars in the area. So we looked up. They told us about a barcade, a bar arcade. So we go over there, and Brandon was like, just know it's probably going to suck. It's going to be crazy hipsters. Lo and behold, absolutely right.
I pretty much nailed it right on the fucking head. And I've only been to one arcade bar before in my entire life, but somehow I just knew they're all exactly the same.
Yeah. They definitely are. We got a lot of old games. We played Pac-Man, which was fun.
Yeah. We did smoke a joint on the way there, which was kind of fun. So we got nice and stoned. The worst part about the bar was that they would play like, I don't know, like a Sabbath song, and then go into like a French jazz piano song, and then like a Lou Reed song, and then
death metal,
and then a gross death metal song, and it would change your mood like every 3 minutes. Like, there's no consistency to it.
Yeah, and the people in there were just extra weird looking, like you know, grunge, like leather jacket, weird piercings. All the girls consistently had hoop nose rings, like bull nose rings. So that was big over there. Dudes had gauges, beards, weird haircuts.
Yeah, and then, like, lo and behold, we found another pretty fucking hot bartender. I forget her name.
Cleary.
Oh, yeah.
I like that name.
Yeah, she was very... Look at this. Holy shit. That's fucking sick. Looks like we're rolling up right next to the Colorado. But, yeah. Talked to her for a little bit. The flirting was going amazing. Like, she kept gravitating towards us, and she was shooting it at us, we were shooting it at her, and then she just drops the boyfriend bomb on us. And that pretty much ruined my night.
Yeah.
I pretty much clocked out mentally after that. I was like, alright, I'm just gonna drink a beer, and then I'm gonna get the fuck out of here.
But what was good about that bar, they had cheap options. They had $3 Tecates, $3 PBRs, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of more of our zone as far as getting beers go.
Our flirting did pay off actually, because right above like the bar there was a big wall and a big like poster on the wall with all these Polaroid pictures of these random people that we had no idea who they were, with their names underneath. And we asked Cleary, how can we get on the wall? And she goes, I don't know, someone has to take your picture. We have a Polaroid in the back. And we convinced her, pretty easily actually, to go get the Polaroid and take our picture, and they fucking put it up on the wall.
Damn right. So we're at this bar forever. This gay barcade.
It's called Supernova. So if you're ever in Colorado Springs, go to Supernova. Look for our picture. We're gonna be fucking famous.
Yeah. And try to hold down. They got a jukebox in there, touch tunes. Try to hold that down if you can, so no one can put on French opera or.
And try to beat my fucking score on Pac-Man, motherfuckers. Not happening. Not happening. I went nuts on that.
Yeah. Surprisingly, there was like really no one playing the games in there.
Yeah.
I thought there would be more people doing that, but we were the only ones who played Pac-Man for a while and then sat down.
Yeah.
But all in all, it was just an average night. We got to kind of experience Colorado Springs culture. I don't know how well of a representation of their culture is, but I mean, from what we gathered, it was a slower Thursday night.
It was generally uneventful.
Yeah, pretty uneventful.
With like moments of excitement, but even then.
Homeless people.
Yeah, a lot of homeless people.
Who would have fucking thought Colorado Springs is crazy a haven for homeless people?
Yeah.
So many crazy drunk homeless people wandering around, sleeping on the ground, mumbling to themselves, thinking that they're talking to you.
Yeah.
You get scared.
Pretty much the same amount like of homeless people as drunk people walking around.
Pretty much.
It was 50-50. And they were drunk too.
Yeah. So everyone was drunk. So
I honestly, it didn't seem like that good of a downtown area.
No.
So.
Who knows?
Yeah. Maybe
we probably caught it on a slower night, and maybe some of the other bars they were saying the other area of town was this was their night, and we kind of went to the weekend area of town, so that also might have had a factor. But Colorado Springs was good all in all. In the morning today, we woke up. And
pretty
we went
late.
Pretty late.
We kind of blew that. Well, we got really drunk and stayed out late.
Yeah, we were up until like 2:30 in the morning last night.
Which was kind of dumb because it was, like we said, it was a worse night.
Yeah.
But I think that's why we stayed out, because we wanted to make it better.
Trying to find something to do.
So we kept looking around the corner to see what was on the other side, And then there was nothing
really
every time.
I'm kind of glad we did go to the barcade though. That was cool.
I think that was the best part of the whole night. I actually wish we would have done that first.
Yeah. But that was fine. And this morning we went to see some Colorado Springs sights, which I think I'm gonna say are way better than the nightlife.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. That was unreal. We had a few places that we could go to, and since we woke up kind of late, we ended up only being able to go to one, and we picked Garden of the Gods. And just that name alone.
Yeah.
Garden of the Gods, like it was unreal. Dude, look left. Holy shit. So, what it is basically, I don't even know how to describe it. Can you describe it, Ryan?
I mean, it's like a state park, I assume, and they have an area where you can drive around this entire garden, I guess you could call it, and there's different trails. It's a mountainous area, but they have really cool rock formations, and
that doesn't do it justice at all.
Doesn't.
So
I mean, we're gonna be putting pictures in with this podcast if you're following it along.
You gotta watch this podcast.
Hopefully, when you're on YouTube looking at this podcast, there'll be some pictures of what we saw. Really, really sick.
And even so, the scale doesn't translate that well to the pictures.
No.
These things were massive, like probably 300 feet high, would you say?
Yeah.
On the bigger ones. And like these big red rocks that just look like it was impossible for them to be there, Crazy looking things.
And people were climbing them too, People had all the hiking gear, all the climbing gear, ropes.
Yeah, like we kind of were looking around and we just see someone standing at the top of this 300-foot rock, like at the very tippy top, and it was just unreal. And then all the tourist stuff was down at the bottom. You could kind of walk through it. They put these pathways there. But then we kind of fucked up at first.
Yeah, we didn't go the right way. We kind of went to the most populated area first. And kind of drove, went the opposite way as all the people were at. There was cool spots, but it was like the watered down wilderness, if that's a good way to describe it. Like, it's all within walking distance, everything's right there. You know, it's like pose with your picture here. You know.
Yeah, there's like signs and stuff.
Yeah, signs.
It just didn't really feel like you were out there. You know what I mean? It was a bit saturated with people.
So,
but then,
yeah, go ahead.
Ryan, we went around this other way, and like we didn't really see much. And then Ryan just kind of said "fuck it" and was like, there was this little area that said it's restricted for only people that are gonna do climbs with the like harnesses and stuff, like actual climbers. And Ryan was just like, I'm fucking getting in there, which I'm so happy you did that, man.
Yeah.
Like that was a solid move.
Well, it didn't look. It looked like a pretty mellow climb. Like, because some of them we were looking at with the climbing trails, they were like straight up, and this climbing trail had, you know, a little clearing area, and it gradually got, you know, taller. So we walked back and kind of just felt it out as we went, and realized that we could climb up.
And we saw this little like cave type thing at the very top of where we could make it, and we kind of were sizing it up, and we thought maybe we can get up there, like let's try to trudge through. And we had to walk through like these really sticky fucking like bushes and stuff, and it kind of sucked, but it only took us about like 10 minutes. It really wasn't that bad at all. And we get pretty close to the top, and Ryan just goes, "Holy shit!" And I look to my right, and I swear to God, what is it, 5 feet from us?
Yeah, 5 feet.
A family of deer just chilling, like hanging out. And I didn't even notice them. You couldn't hear them or anything. And they didn't really care that we were there either. They looked at us and didn't flinch, you know?
They knew that we didn't know where we were going.
Yeah, they could sense it. They're like, oh, these guys are harmless. So, but I don't know, just being that close to a deer, and that's when we were like, all right, this is the spot we want to hang out at, like not the tourist area. Like we want to hang out with these deer in nature and just, I don't know, shoot the shit with them. And they kind of had a little like home set up by this tree, and we were kind of chilling right there, just watching them. They were just hanging around us. And we got up to this little cave, and then we kind of saw a little pathway off to the side, right?
Yeah.
And we shot over there.
And that was an even sicker view.
And yeah, we like kind of had to walk up this hill, and then we just saw our view, and we were in the middle of like all the giant rocks that they're not like, they don't let you go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we weren't supposed to be there. No one was there. But somehow we just managed to like climb up there, and it was sick. So we smoked a joint.
As is our legal right.
Yeah. In Colorado.
In Colorado. Only. So, that was awesome. It was definitely worth it. If we were gonna, I mean, I was satisfied with what we saw. You know, I mean, there was other sights to see, but I was satisfied with what we walked around, and we did other trails too while we were there. But this particular one was just the best.
I mean, it was badass. Like, just that we did what we wanted to, made it way better.
Yeah, and there was no one around. It was just us.
Yeah.
In nature.
Yeah.
And it felt like we could have been out 100 miles from anyone, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So that was cool.
And you could just stare at those like giant rocks forever. Just mesmerizing.
And it was so many different vantage points that you walk 5 to 10 feet in any direction, you would see something new that you didn't see from 5 to 10 feet over. So it was really cool to be able to just walk around and keep noticing shit. And we walked through a pretty decent uphill and downhill trail that we weren't supposed to be on, and we found some really cool stuff that we might not have seen if we had obeyed the laws.
We definitely saw the stuff that no one else there saw.
Yeah. So, very cool. And then, so our destination now, we're on US 70, I-70, or whatever it is.
Oh, yeah. Interstate 70.
Going west, and we're heading to Moab, Utah.
Yeah.
We're planning on camping in Moab, Utah tonight. And the road that we were seeing right now, and hopefully we'll have the pictures going along with this so you guys can get a little taste, but it's insane. It's like the road goes right through the Rockies and their national forest. So we're just, in valleys between huge mountains right now, currently driving through.
And right now we're driving parallel to the Colorado, so we're in the canyon. Like there's these just massive canyons to either side of us, like 300 feet tall, probably bigger actually.
Oh, way bigger.
It's insane. We're driving straight through it, and like an hour ago it was just straight forest that we were driving through, and we're going up mountains through tunnels, winding around, like just kind of in awe at everything we're seeing. Like I've never seen a landscape like this before. We were saying earlier, it looks exactly like a screensaver.
Yeah.
Like everything we're seeing right now could be a desktop screensaver.
And for all my Game of Thrones fans, Brendan doesn't partake in Game of Thrones, which is an awful decision.
I don't have time, man.
But it looks like you're in like crossing into Winterfell, or some of these mountains could be, you know, as big as the wall in Game of Thrones. So stuff that like Game of Thrones doesn't. I don't think they shoot in actual places. It's all CGI. So some of this stuff, I was saying earlier to Brendan, it almost hurts your eyes because it's so massive and so vast
and complex
that you're like, holy shit, this, one, how can this be real, and two, like, I can't take it all in at once.
It's hard to process it. You kind of find yourself not really focusing on one thing. Like your eyes kind of just glaze over everything. Does that make sense?
Kind of.
Like there's so many different like focal points to look at within the mountain range that you kind of just like, I don't know what I'm getting at, but it just feels really weird to look at because there's just so much, and it's kind of distracting me driving. It's really not good.
Yeah, it's definitely a great road to drive though, like for long hours. If you're gonna, I mean, through Kansas we didn't see jack shit. So if this was our entire way we were going, something like this, we wouldn't have minded the ride at all.
Yeah.
But, you know,
I did enjoy Kansas just being straight.
Yeah,
like,
it was easy.
We're winding around and like going down some of these hills. I think it was like a 6% grade, which I really don't know what that means, but if you do, good for you. But it was really fucking steep. And you're just riding your brakes down the whole way, hauling ass, going around turns and shit with like cars and trucks right next to you. And it's kind of sketchy.
Yeah, because I mean, you got your guardrails, you got all that stuff, but you're kind of placed right over. I mean, right now we're right next to a river on one side, and the other side is just a
giant
mountain, like a giant wall.
It's just kind of like intimidating.
Yeah, it is intimidating.
And the road we're driving on is pretty narrow.
Narrow, and it's very windy.
Yeah. So when you're going around these bends, you just feel really close to the cars next to you. But
speaking of, none of this is why we were tense in the beginning of this podcast.
Yeah.
We loved everything we talked about so far.
Morale was so high. We were just in the best mood, like listening to music, driving through these mountains, and then all of a sudden I just felt like a release in the car. And I was like, I guess the gear shifted. That's what it felt like gear shifting. But then it didn't come back, you know what I mean? And I just watched the gear shift go all the way up to the 7th gear. And I was like, what the fuck? So I let go of the gas, and it went all the way back down to 1. And I was like, maybe I'll try it again. And I tried it again, and it went straight back up to 7 without even pushing on the gas that hard. And then we just slowly started to lose speed. I was pressing on the gas, just getting nothing, just getting less and less as we go. And yeah, the car broke down, and it was fucked.
Pulled over on the side of the road. Didn't know what to think. I was about to call AAA. We turned the key, we turned it off, took a piss, and we tried it again. The car turned on. It sounded weak, but it turned on. And then, you know, we said there's an exit about a mile ahead. Let's at least give it a little gas, see if we can get there. We got off the exit. It felt a little weird. Like, I don't know, you said it felt a little odd.
It just felt like kind of weak, and yeah, just, I don't know. It could have been in my head, you know?
Yeah. And that was in Vail, Colorado, is where we stopped off, where this all happened. And, there was no gas station or auto shop or anything right there. It was more of a resort town for skiing and snowboarding. So we were going through it. The car seemed fine, so we just got right back on 70 and continued our drive. And the car's been all right since, but it
was scary, man. I was bugging out. I was a bit more composed. Ryan started cursing off, and I just was like in my head. I was so fucking stressed out. I was like, dude, don't get mad yet because I just can't deal with that right now. And then so many things going through my head. Like, dude, like
we're in the Rockies.
Yeah, we're in the fucking middle of these mountains. Like, even if we get towed, where are they gonna tow us?
Yeah.
And then where are we gonna stay tonight? And I thought, we have to be in Utah. Like, we're already running pretty late. I just thought worst case scenario right away. But then for some reason I thought we shouldn't get mad yet. We should just wait a little bit, which fortunately enough
was alright.
The car turned back on magically. And we've been cruising ever since. We've been taking it easier. Like, I haven't really gone over 70 at this point, and we're staying mostly in the right-hand lane. But yeah, definitely still a tense feeling in the air.
Yeah.
I think we kind of felt invincible up to this point.
We really did, because the car was going so good, the trip was going so good, we were making good time everywhere we went. We were driving long hours, but we were always getting to our destination and, on pretty much on time.
And having fun along the way.
So, this was the first kind of damper to our trip.
Yeah.
And, hopefully we don't have to be concerned about it anymore. Hopefully the car's just fine, but we got a lot more road to go. We got 2 more days of driving, so we're just really praying. Hopefully you guys will pray for us. I mean, you won't hear this podcast until either we've made it or
we haven't.
So, but I think that's really all we have for them today.
I don't know. You got anything you want to just talk about, like your feelings or anything?
My feelings?
Like, what's your mental state at right now?
My mental state is pretty apprehensive. Not really sure what to make of what we're doing right now.
Yeah, a lot of things are questionable because we don't really have a set place to sleep tonight.
Yeah, that's true.
And not only that, like, we didn't get to camp last night, which we're kind of upset about, but a big part of this trip was being able to camp. And if we don't end up getting to do that for whatever reason, I'm going to be pretty upset.
Yeah.
Like, if we get to the campgrounds and they're all filled up and we have to settle on a hotel, I'm going to be pretty bummed.
Yeah. I just hope, he called it dispersed camping, and I think that just means free range camping. So I think that's the only thing. If they don't have any spots available, we can still do that. It's just going to be a little tougher because we have to find our own firewood, wood, set up our own campsite.
But you know what, dude? I'm cool with that.
As long as that's fine and okay, we don't get in trouble for doing that, I'm fine. And it sounds like the guy said that's all right.
Yeah.
I just want to be able to get there with enough, daylight to see what's up, to talk, maybe talk to someone that's working there, or at least find a spot, and then I'm fine with wherever we're at.
Which is also a problem because we woke up pretty late today and then spent a good amount of time at Garden of the Gods, and now we're kind of cutting it close, getting there before the sun sets. So yeah, we pretty tense right now as the overall mindset. But have you had any moments at all? Like, I've definitely had a few moments. Like when we first got on I-70 and Take It Easy came on by the Eagles, I was just driving through and just having a complete moment to myself, kind of tripping out on my life. And I got a few of those in Kansas with the wind turbines. Those are kind of my only 2 moments on the whole trip where I reflected pretty hard on stuff,
Yeah.
And felt some weird energy happening.
It's weird because you don't really have much time to reflect because we're always moving so fast.
Yeah. It takes those weird moments on the road where it just kind of goes silent for a while. and you kind of forget what you're even doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. So
But yeah.
that's it right now. Hopefully we're gonna make it to Utah tonight and be able to set up camp. So that's our goal as of now. We're hoping this car just blesses us with the ability to get to California.
Praying, man.
And you know, we'll hope for the best.
Yeah. You want to find a song for the people?
Oh, I think we're gonna just send them off with what we had. You guys heard the beginning of Inagata Davida by Iron Butterfly, and we're gonna put you on at the end of the song. So thanks for listening.
Take it easy. Those colors. Look at that orange, dude.
Don't you know that I'll always be true?